There is a specific kind of loneliness that nobody warns you about. Not the loneliness of being alone. The loneliness of sitting across from someone who wants to be close to you. Someone you actually want to be close to. And feeling a wall go up that you didn't choose to build and don't know how to take down. You've explained it to yourself 100 different ways. You need space. You're independent. You're just not a big feelings person. And those explanations aren't wrong exactly. They're just not the whole story. The whole story is older than any relationship you've ever been in. Avoidant attachment style. The pattern that makes the people who want you feel like too much, even when part of you wants exactly what they're offering. This video is the explanation you didn't know you needed. Whether you're the person standing in the doorway or the person watching someone they love stand in it. If you've spent years living in that doorway, stay with this. Avoidant attachment doesn't start with a dramatic wound. It starts with something quieter, and in some ways, harder to name. A child who discovered, consistently, that expressing emotional needs didn't produce emotional responses. Not punishment, not cruelty, just nothing useful. A parent who was physically present, practically reliable, and emotionally somewhere else entirely. A child in that environment makes a completely rational decision. If needing things doesn't get needs met, and in fact makes the people around you visibly uncomfortable, then the most logical move is to stop showing the need, to become self-sufficient, to keep the emotional world private and learn to be, as the adults around them often said with genuine admiration, easy, independent, mature for their age. Nobody saw a problem, because from the outside, there was no problem to see. There was a child who was coping well. What nobody saw was the operating system being written. The one that would run inside every adult relationship this person ever had. The one that says, let people close enough to stay, but not close enough to matter. Because mattering means depending, and depending is the one thing you learned not to do. Dr. John Bowlby, whose foundational research established the entire framework of attachment theory, identified this as dismissive avoidant attachment. A strategy formed in childhood that becomes a fully automated protection system by adulthood. The child who learned to self-soothe becomes the adult who pulls away. Not because they don't feel, but because they became extraordinarily skilled at not showing it. Here is what avoidant attachment style actually feels like from the inside, because most descriptions get it completely wrong. They focus on the behavior, the pulling away, the emotional unavailability, the need for space. They miss the interior entirely. It is not indifference. That's the most important thing to understand about avoidant attachment. The avoidant person in a relationship often feels more than their partner realizes. The difference is what happens to those feelings once they arrive. When a relationship starts deepening, when someone starts wanting more access, more vulnerability, more of the internal world that's been kept carefully private, something activates. And it doesn't feel like fear. That's the part nobody tells you. It feels like irritation, a sudden awareness of the other person's flaws that wasn't there last week, a need for space that arrives with complete logical conviction and no apparent cause, a quiet but persistent sense that this relationship might not be right after all. From the outside, it looks like not caring. From the inside, it's the nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Increasing the distance at precisely the moment intimacy increases. Because intimacy, at a certain level of closeness, registered as threat before this person ever had the language to understand why. And the part that makes avoidant attachment style so difficult to work with, from either side, is that the person experiencing it is often the last to see it. Because from the inside, every withdrawal feels entirely reasonable. Every need for space feels entirely justified. The system is very good at what it does. Something to sit with before we go further. If you're recognizing yourself in any of this, when was the last time you let someone fully in? Drop it in the comments. Even just one word. And if you want something to help you work through it, reply with resource. We'll send you something useful, no strings attached. The most painful part of avoidant attachment style isn't what it does to the person experiencing it, it's what it does to the people who love them. Because the avoidant pattern has a particularly cruel geometry. The closer someone gets, the more they love, the more consistently they show up, the more the avoidant nervous system treats that love as a problem to manage rather than a gift to receive. And so the most loving, most consistent, most present partners end up feeling the most rejected. Not because the avoidant person doesn't care, but because the caring gets routed through a protection system that cannot distinguish between emotional danger and emotional safety. All closeness reads the same. All of it triggers the same response. That is the destination this pattern moves toward if nothing changes. Not because the avoidant person is broken or unkind, because a nervous system running a 40-year-old protection strategy in a present-day relationship will always, without intervention, choose survival over connection, every time. Until someone teaches it, those two things are not in conflict. Everything up to this point has been the diagnosis. What comes next is different. It's the part that actually changes something. 3 specific things that research and clinical practice consistently identify as the real levers. Stay with this. The third one especially lands differently than people expect. The first thing, and it's unglamorous, but it is genuinely the foundation of everything else, is learning to see the withdrawal before it happens. Not to stop it immediately, just to see it. The avoidant withdrawal response is faster than conscious thought. By the time the awareness arrives, I need space right now. The distancing has usually already started. The shorter reply is already sent. The emotional cooling has already begun. The partner has already felt it, even if neither person has named it. The practice is this: build one breath between the trigger and the response. Not to force a different behavior, just to notice. Something in me just activated. The impulse is to create distance. 60 seconds before I do anything. That pause, repeated over weeks and months, interrupts the automaticity that makes the pattern invisible. You cannot change a response you cannot see. Seeing it is the whole first step. The second thing is tolerating the discomfort of being known in small, incremental doses. Not radical openness. Not a single vulnerable conversation that changes everything. 100 small moments of choosing to say the real thing instead of the safe thing. Avoidant attachment developed because vulnerability historically produced unhelpful responses. The nervous system made a rule: being known equals exposure equals potential pain. What updates that rule is not insight, it's new experience. The repeated experience of saying something honest and having it received well. Then something slightly less small. Each time, a small piece of new evidence for a nervous system that has been running on old data. This is what fixing avoidant attachment style actually looks like in practice. Not a single moment of radical honesty. A slow accumulation of small moments where the true thing was said and the relationship survived it. Usually became stronger because of it. And each survival is registered, slowly, quietly, by a nervous system that is updating its data. The third thing, and this is the one that surprises people, is getting curious about the withdrawal rather than fighting it. Most advice for dealing with avoidant attachment style treats the withdrawal as the enemy. Override it, push past it, make yourself stay when every instinct says go. That approach works occasionally and creates shame consistently. I'm withdrawing again. I'm doing the thing I said I wouldn't. I'm broken. And shame, it turns out, is one of the most reliable ways to make an avoidant nervous system close further. Because shame is itself a form of emotional exposure, and emotional exposure is precisely what the system is designed to prevent. What works better is genuine curiosity. When the withdrawal impulse fires, what actually just happened? What specifically triggered this? Was it the emotional demand of the conversation? The fear of being truly seen? Something about this moment that rhymes with a much older one. That inquiry, over time, consistently applied, begins to separate the present-day relationship from the original environment that created the pattern. Your partner asking for closeness is not the same as your parents' emotional unavailability. Your nervous system doesn't know that yet. Curiosity is how you teach it. Of those 3, the pause, the small disclosures, or the curiosity, which one feels most foreign to how you currently operate? Drop it in the comments. And if all 3 feel foreign, that's worth saying too. A word for anyone watching this not because they're avoidant, but because they love someone who is. What you've been experiencing, The warmth followed by inexplicable distance. The closeness that appears and then retreats without warning. The persistent feeling that you are always one step away from enough, but never quite there, is one of the most disorienting relationship experiences that exists. And it has nothing to do with your worth, nothing to do with your lovability, nothing to do with whether you are doing this right. Avoidant attachment is not the same as not caring. It is not the same as not loving you. It is a nervous system doing exactly what it was taught, in a context it was never designed for, with a person it never anticipated. The work of changing it belongs to the person running the pattern, but understanding where it comes from changes what it means, and what it means changes everything about how both of you move through it. Avoidant attachment style doesn't dissolve. Nobody wakes up one morning and finds the protection system gone. What changes, gradually, with the right work and enough honest moments, is what the nervous system does with the information that someone is getting close. It starts to register something it couldn't before, that letting someone in is survivable, that being known doesn't have to mean being hurt, that the wall that kept you safe for years is also, and this is the part that takes the longest to accept, the thing keeping you from the life you actually want. One step at a time. One true thing said out loud. One moment of staying when the instinct is to go. For someone with avoidant attachment style, that is not a small thing. That is everything. If this gave you a language for something you've been living without one, or helped you understand someone you love a little better, there's more at marriage.com. Real guidance, real research, no filler. Go explore. What's one thing from this video you're actually going to do differently this week? If you're not sure where to start, pick the one that feels most relevant right now. A. Say it out loud. B. Trace where it started. C. Stop checking. Drop your letter below, or tell us your own. Specific beats generic every single time, and we respond to everything. So go ahead. Maybe this was you, maybe it was your partner, or a friend you've watched go through it. Either way, if this video helped, make sure it reaches someone who needs it. And subscribe to marriage.com. We put something out every week that's worth your time.